very bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I've got a bad feeling about this. I've got a bad feeling about this. I have a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about
I have a very bad feeling about this. I've got a bad feeling about this.
For what it's worth, I've got a good feeling about this.
Punch it, Chizzle! Bringing back the Muppetness. That's really good, man. That's, you got to teach me that somehow.
I had to take a drink first to get it right.
Oh, see,
You have to. I can't. Yeah.
I even tried that, and I can't do that.
Oh.
Just like I can't roll my R's,
Dude, I can't. Dude, I wish I could record my brother doing it. My brother can do it fucking perfect. You'd be like, holy shit, that was crazy.
You know, I got a question because it is pretty close to Halloween season and everything like that. I mean, for a lot of people, Halloween season starts very early, you know, but then Christmas takes over because there's no Thanksgiving. We know that.
No,
you know?
we just skip over that.
Once they thaw Mariah Carey, it's over.
Fall,
you know,
fall is Halloween and that's it, and then we go straight to Christmas.
right? But is there a kind of Halloween themed We know there's Christmas Star Wars, but because they have Life Day and all that shit, which is basically the same, you know, basically. But if there was a Halloween themed episode of something or scene, what would you consider that for Star Wars?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, and don't say the Acolyte with the witches because
Yeah.
we'll be like, thank you, that's it for our podcast.
Yeah.
Good night.
God, that.
But it is super scary. I'll give you that. The Acolyte
Yeah.
episode with the witches is very scary.
That's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know what I would.
Because of how bad it is.
Yeah.
Don't let Disney hear that. They don't know
Yeah.
it yet.
Man, now you're really making me think because I don't know what.
Like, what would be... I mean, I guess like cantina scenes, you know, because you get all the creatures.
I was
There's a
leaning.
Wolfman.
I was leaning towards Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
With all the different people and stuff. They're all dressed up. They're all in costumes.
Just replace like the song with the Monster Mash, and it would work.
Oh my God, we should do that. we're gonna make that video now.
And Jabba's like being hella entertained, going, "Oh, that was a good one."
Oh.
In the crypts of the night, where Jabba's palace is in full flight. I don't know how this song goes.
Yeah, whatever. Dude, I think that's something we got to do now.
Yeah, someone's got to put that put that together.
Yeah, God, I hate admitting it, but I've been using the shit out of AI lately.
Yeah, look, it's now become culturally like imbued with us now.
Yeah.
And it's going to get even further, and then all these AI.coms or whatever are all going to crash like the big .com. Like, they say it's even huger now. So the crash will be even huger, because it will crash.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because how many AI platforms have you paid for any?
I pay for ChatGPT.
Okay, I haven't paid. I've tried like some of the early video ones that I paid for credits just to do a little thing, but that's about it. Just testing it out, you know. I'm always cool about technology.
Yeah. No, the ChatGPT one, I use it for business stuff actually.
Okay.
So I'll be like, hey,
you get sued all the time, so
I'm like, hey, just tell me, if I'm buying something for this much, what do I need to make a 50% net profit after fees and that kind of stuff, and break it down per price point. If I'm selling anywhere, if I'm selling like a pack of Pokemon from $6 to $10, what my buy point needs to be to make at least a 50% profit margin, and it'll print me out the whole table.
Okay.
And I use it for things like that. Sometimes I'll do like some art stuff to get an idea and be like, no, I don't like this. I like this. Okay, I like the way this worked. And then I'll create my own version.
Yeah.
That I can edit and stuff, because you can't edit AI art.
I mean, no, you
Really.
I mean,
you can't separate the layers and stuff
No, you
like you
can't.
would in like Photoshop or Canva or
I mean, I
anything
could
like
probably
that.
hide it using AI, or not
Well,
AI, but
yes.
you know, Photoshop tools. I can hide a lot of that shit.
So,
or fix it.
you know, I like to get, like, it'll give me an idea of something I can build off of and be like, oh, okay, hey, I like the way this looks. No, let me change this. You know,
I mean, that's how art is created. Even you have a muse, or you get an idea from somewhere,
Yeah.
whether it's the either, or
Yeah.
you see something in life, or life, you know, reminds you of something, so you draw it out and you make it happen.
Yeah, I did. I did create one where I took a photo of myself, I uploaded it, and then I added a bunch of Pokemon stuff to it where I'm holding a Pokeball, and it actually came out really cool. In the picture, you know, I always wear Carhartt shirts, so it actually had the Carhartt logo.
I
in the
just bought
shirt
like
and-
2 different Carhartt shirts, but I don't wear your brand. I mean, style.
Yeah.
Carhartt. I wear the ones that say Carhartt on the sleeve. I like
So
those.
I like. That's like I just bought that sweatshirt. Yes, it got delivered last night.
Oh, those are good ones.
Yeah, the one that says Carhartt down the sleeve.
Oh,
I
I
like
just
that
got the
one.
long sleeve shirts. This podcast is not sponsored by
Yeah.
Carhartt, but if you want to,
And one thing is, we're not the dudes that wear it and have never, you know, worked a blue collar job.
no,
Those dudes I can't stand.
yeah, fuck those
That
guys.
wear
man.
it for fucking fashion.
Yo, and they might have a mustache at one time in their life.
Dude, and they've waxed their mustache and they've got fucking sleeves and wear suspenders with their flannels.
Right.
Fuck
Ugh.
those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to buy new Carhartt shirts because I work in them, you know?
Exactly.
I wear them normally too.
So what I started doing was I started cutting off the tag on my Carhartt shirt, so I knew that was a work shirt and not like a regular shirt. So hey, if it has a tag, don't fuck this one up.
Dude,
You
you're
know?
like a cartoon guy. You're like Doug Funny, and you look in the
Oh my
closet,
God.
and you just have a million
I
Homer
am.
Simpson uniforms.
I
the
am.
same fucking.
My kids told me they're like, dude, you're a cartoon character. I have
It's so much easier.
so many gray Carhartt shirts. It's ridiculous. Literally in my closet, there's at least 10 of the same Carhartt shirt in there.
Dude, I stopped buying
And-
FR jeans just because I have to wear FR a lot of times, you know. And some I'll just wear them normally, but I'm always ripping out the knees.
Yeah.
So I stopped because like they're super expensive. I started buying tactical shit because tactical shit
yeah?
it is not gonna rip as easy unless you get caught on something jagged. But
Yeah.
Not
So,
that I'm
like-
on my knees all the time. Like get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here with that.
I have a pair of 511 pants. I fucking love those.
Never heard of it.
They're the tactical brand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like the Carhartt of the tactical world.
GovX.com.
Yeah.
GovX.com. I hate that fucking commercial. And that guy's such an asshole. He's like, well, where'd you get that? He's like, GovX.com. Here, use it. And he points a finger at his head like it's a sideways gun. Use it. GovX.com. It's so dumb. I've never been to GovX.com, and I won't.
I went to it like back in the day, but I haven't been on it in forever. Just to see what they had. It was nothing fucking great.
Which also the president said that, you know, I don't know if it was cheap or not. The president said inflation is dead. So, but toy prices are rising.
Yeah. Yeah. Inflation is down, but we're
Not on our level.
well, we're also, you know, we're in California too, so but overall, the thing that people don't realize when they say inflation is down, inflation usually averages about 3% a year.
Okay.
And when inflation was almost 10%,
That really maxes that. I mean, that matches up with my 2% raise a year that I don't get.
yeah. So when it jumps up 10%, it doesn't, and then they say, oh, inflation is now 3%. Well, over 2 years, that means it went up 13%. Not, it was at 10 and then it dropped back down to 3. No, it went up 10 and then up another 3.
Sure.
People don't realize that. It's like, okay, normally it takes 3 years to get to 9%. Well, we did 3 years in 1 year, and then after that, the next year's 3% or 3 or 4%, and it goes up. And now we're sitting at, I think, 2.7%, which, I mean, nothing is going down. For stuff to go down, inflation needs to be negative. And
think,
that's, I don't think that's ever happened.
COVID's main 1 year was like 10 years. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because it was like 2020. 1 year was like, boom, fuck you, pay me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even with that, Star Wars figures are going up. You had some experiences with Star Wars at like all the conventions you've been selling at, all the toy shows.
I've been all over the place, which I'd like to apologize for again. I've been super busy. I've been in Vegas, LA, all over the place.
I still haven't uploaded that last episode that we recorded. It was pretty bad anyways, but not that it was like great or good. It was informative, but I still haven't edited.
Okay, well,
maybe it'll go up.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyways, it'll be out before this one, I hope.
Yeah.
So I just did LA Comic-Con, and something that really, kind of struck me was the lack of Star Wars anything there. No, there wasn't a real Star Wars presence.
There used to be Star Wars booths. Like, other than the lightsaber dude, there'd be, like you would have like a huge Star Wars section.
My booth was almost always just Star Wars, filled with it. And I've done other stuff, but Star Wars was, my primary thing. And this time I had a few Star Wars pieces that were just kind of in my bins, and I've just been doing Pokemon and just walking around. Other than lightsabers, there wasn't a whole lot of Star Wars merchandise.
Unless you find a hot toy guy and he's basically giving them away
and blocking my booth.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
He was the guy right in front of me where you couldn't see my booth because his shit was so big. And that guy lost his ass. But there just wasn't a whole lot besides lightsabers, and there was art. I gotta say though, at this convention, I paid more attention to the art than anything else. There was some really cool stuff out there, but as far as action figures and that kind of stuff, very little. I could probably count on my hand the people I seen with vintage Star Wars at LA Comic-Con.
And was it even good stuff? Like,
there was one guy. He had really good stuff. He had carded vintage. He had loose vintage. He had a bunch of vehicles and stuff. But he had G.I. Joe and Transformers and Motu stuff.
Yeah,
he had a very well-rounded booth, all vintage 80s stuff, nice condition, no junk in there. And
those guys know what they have, and they want what they want.
Yeah,
because the value doesn't really go down.
No, he was very reasonable on his prices, and I talked to him, and I was like, "Hey, how are you doing over here?" And he's like, "Man, it's rough." And I was like, "Dude, that sucks because you have really good stuff." And he's like, I wasn't sure if I was priced kind of high, and I was like, "Your prices are great, especially at being at a convention where a booth." Cost $1,400.
When you can pick up a figure, look at it, and buy it right there, it's so much different than eBay and getting screwed, or being on Facebook groups and getting screwed.
Definitely.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with all of that. You
and
don't have to deal with shipping.
You're also
you're
interacting with another fan.
Yeah.
He's made. You're gonna tell when you get to that booth if this guy is just in it for the money, or if he's an actual fan.
Yeah.
Like. When I sell Pokemon, the people that buy from me, they know I'm only selling it. And I give good deals, and they see that. And I tell them, look, I don't collect it. I have no attachment to it.
But they still try to come up and talk to you about, what's the collection.
And that kind of stuff, I at least know it. I could talk about it, and I could be like, look, I don't collect it. I know the product, so I don't have any attachment to it. I do this to make money.
Right, but you can help them out with pricing and everything else.
Oh, exactly.
And that one's the rare one. That one you should hold on
exactly.
to.
Exactly. I could, I have kids coming up to me all the time at, oh, I want this, or would you be willing to buy this? And I'll make, can you trade me this? I make trades with kids that make no financial sense whatsoever because I'm helping out the kid.
Yeah.
And I've always done that with whatever. But
it's a shot in the pan for you. So it's like,
So when when you go talk to some of these guys at these events, you can tell who the real collectors are. And, you get to interact with them because you don't get that on eBay. You just see a guy selling some shit and you never know. Is he just a flipper? Is it somebody selling off, a relative's collection? Is it their extras? Do they need money? Whatever. You don't know the story behind it. But
No.
when you can actually be there face to face, and, it's the reason why I love going to toy shows and stuff, is you get to talk to these people, and there might be a story behind it.
Sure, yeah.
And like I said, this guy, he had really good, prices on his stuff. I sat and I talked to this guy for half an hour just about vintage toys in general.
It's always cool, the story of to hear where they found them, where they got them, because that's a huge thing behind especially vintage Star Wars figures. And we've talked about that on the show with you.
Yeah.
Getting them out of attics of old ladies and shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know if we covered it on here, but we had talked about when I found my adventure Cantina set.
Yeah,
the
we did.
Best. Yeah, that was the best score I've ever got. It was in a lady's basement, and she was like a World War II nurse, and she had bought this thing at Sears. It still had the receipt when I got it, and she had passed away, and her family was selling everything off, and they handed it to a guy on his way out and said, "Here, you can just have this."
Wow.
And he was like, "Wow, okay, thanks." And he posted it up on Facebook, and I went and I picked it up, and he knew there was some value there, but he wasn't. This was in San Francisco. He wasn't from the area. He was visiting some friends, and this was literally down the street. So he's like, "I know it's worth more." He's like, "I wanted to go to a collector, and I'm never going to do anything with it. So give me $100." I was like, "Done."
Shit.
And I just said, "Are all the figures there?" He's like, "Yeah, they're all inside." Well, they were all in the package inside.
Wow.
Like the blue snaggletooth.
You were still running to pick it up, and they're still on the card.
Yeah. No, they were in the baggies.
Oh, in the
because the blue snaggletooth was never on a card. It was only in the baggie.
Right.
And that is the absolute best find I've ever got. And I actually sold that because it sat in my safe. It was, it was an expensive piece, and I was like, okay, I could get it graded, and I'm going to have this huge display, something I thought about doing, but I was like, you know what?
Something every collector thinks about doing is having a huge display, and we never get around to it.
No. And I'm just
we
like,
have
you
little
know what?
displays, seasonal.
It sat in my safe for 2 or 3 years, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sell it.
What are you doing with it?
Exactly. And I was like, you know what? It went to another collector that...
if it's not seeing the light of day, no one's enjoying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I sold it to another collector. He was thrilled. It was one of the last pieces he needed. And...
See, that's a whole story in that. Yeah, that's really
and I
cool.
sold it to him, and I didn't realize it. I had met him the previous year when I was in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And just... met him at a toy store, and we were talking and stuff, and I bought some stuff from him there, and then didn't realize it until after I sold it to him. It was 3 months later, I was like, oh my God, it just hit me. Hey, that's the same guy from Vegas. And I was like, oh shit. And then I ran into him in Vegas not long after that, and I was like, hey, I sold you. And he's like, oh, shit, you're right. He didn't recognize me. And he's like, oh, and then we sat there and we talked about it forever.
Damn.
So, but, what I was, back to my original point, there just wasn't a big presence at Comic-Con.
Well, we all know that Star Wars figures aren't selling well.
Even more than the figures, there were really no actors. I didn't see any panels for it. There were actually actors that had their own booths. Because I had one of them reach out to me and ask if they could do a signing in my booth, and I wasn't sure because my booth was kind of small, and then the way I ended up setting it up, it wouldn't have worked for me. So I had to pass on that. She found somebody else, but she still wants to do something in the future, so we're going to work on that.
I think there's a huge Star Wars fatigue going on right now.
There is. I think so.
I mean, with the Acolyte, which, yeah. huge
That was-
uproars about it, the Acolyte, and that put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And not to mention all the other shows that came out before that, like Andor is like a sleeper. Not that it's bad, it's just it's directed at a certain audience.
It is. I feel Andor is more for the hardcore Star Wars people.
Sure.
If you're a casual fan's not,
It's not a
gonna
big
be interested.
blockbuster Star Wars thing like we're used to.
I wasn't thrilled with the first season. I talked about it.
I talked
fell
a bunch
asleep.
of shit about it.
I
'cause
fell asleep during it. But the second season, so much better. Mm-hmm. I was like, holy shit! I can't wait till next week. I was actually excited for it. They just got better and better. But the first season, no, I just could not get into it.
I mean, with the amount of failures and what you call a failure can be, judged
Yeah,
any which way.
subjective.
But just from audience, like if someone's not a big Star Wars fan and they just look at, the review bombing and like the news, all Star Wars news is pretty much bad about the product. So anyone who's an average fan coming into like whatever new Star Wars thing is out, they're coming in with a grain of salt already. And their ideas and their motives are already tainted by the internet and the ether out there, surrounding whatever Disney is putting out right now.
Like after The Last Jedi, Solo came out, and I loved Solo. I thought it was really good. I think it's a very underrated movie, but I think people were just like, what the fuck, after The Last Jedi, that they didn't care. They were just like, dude, no, I'm kind of over
People were
this
hyped
shit.
for The Last Jedi to come out.
They
We
were.
all went to go see it,
Yep.
And then we all walked out like, what the fuck did I just watch?
My brother came with me, and he's not a huge Star Wars fan, and he's like, fuck it, I'll go with you guys, because we always go opening night, and I always buy like the entire row, and he's like, yeah, I'll come, and he's like, I want to see what this is about, and he was just like, what the fuck?
Great starting point.
And he goes, so, what did you think of that? And I was like, I don't fucking know.
I hate Ryan Johnson right now.
Yeah. So, but then Solo came out, and I was like, I'm gonna go see it. As, Han Solo was my favorite character as a
lot of
kid and
people's,
everything.
yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna go see it. I had read all the the older books and stuff that gave the backstory, and I was a little disappointed they changed a bunch of stuff, but I get it. I've been a little more accepting of them, changing stuff. It's like, you don't want to just put out a carbon copy of what's already been done.
I don't understand the hate about explaining things that are in the original Star Wars films, like the dice, the 20 whatever parsecs and all that shit. Explaining all that stuff in one movie, people hate that. I'm like, look, this is one movie, not a show, so they're going to include a lot of that shit in there.
That stuff didn't bother me. The dice, the parsecs.
But why do people hate
all
that?
Because it's the smarts. It's the smarts that know this already. So you don't need to tell me.
We call them smarks in the wrestling business, the smart marks.
Smart mark. Well, yeah. I'm saying the smarts, not the smart marks. I
think in Star Wars, like, mythology, we call them the sharts.
If you're not a wrestling fan, the guys that believe wrestling is real are called marks. Mm-hmm. And the guys that know it's fake and are into the behind the scenes stuff, they're smarts. And then the guys
smart marks, yeah.
Well, I think I've
never
always
heard of smarts yet.
Yeah, they're smart. Smart marks are the guys that they know it's fake, but they believe
they
the storyline
to like believe
stuff.
the kayfabe at certain
Yes,
times.
exactly. So that's a smart mark. It's fake, but you go along with it.
Oh yeah, I'll watch a wrestling match like it's real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you would be
That's how you need to watch wrestling.
a smart. You'd be a smart mark. But the guy that's like, oh well, this guy is really friends with this guy, so I know what's going on backstage, and that Triple H buried him and
But
all
you know
this
what?
shit.
When I was watching
Those
The Last Jedi, I was going, fake! Fucking
Yeah.
bullshit. This is fake. Boo! Bring out John Cena. Yeah, so it might have started off with that movie.
I think so.
The whole, because everyone was anticipating the first Disney sequel, and that one went well.
After The Force Awakens, everyone's like, okay, this is the start. We know it's a copy of A New Hope. We know what they're following. Okay, so the next one, they can build on it, and they didn't. And I think that people were just like what the fuck?
Right.
They had, and then by the time you get to the third one, there was no direction or anything that they stuck to. No, this shit was all over the place.
And the toys went to fucking all the discount stores.
Oh, yeah.
For The Last Jedi. They didn't even make the toys for The Last Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker.
No, they didn't even
make them.
They didn't even
They knew. Disney was like, fuck that. We're going to save some money.
Well, Hasbro, really.
Oh, Hasbro.
They made, I think, 5 vintage collection figures from The Rise of Skywalker, and that's it.
I mean, I'd really like a Emperor.
God, I want that so bad with the red.
Thing. Yeah.
No, I want the one with the red and black robe. It's the same.
Okay.
It's the same one, but you want the whole arm thing.
Yeah, I want.
I want the Emperor, and I also want the Imperial officers.
Okay.
With their funny little hats and everything. I think those would be really cool.
Yeah.
Everything else, I don't give a shit about.
I don't either.
We don't need any space horses or anything like that. No, I want the female. Really, the female. I'd rather have the female officer more than the male officer, and then the Emperor with the red and black.
Yeah, I mean, I still want those figures. Like, I don't hate that movie, and there's a lot of outpour right now.
I don't really hate it.
That people do not hate that movie anymore as much as they thought they did, because that movie is still Star Wars trying to fix a problem. But if you just watch it as Star Wars and like turn your brain off a little bit, it's still fun.
I know they were trying to fix some shit, and it wasn't perfect. They did the best they could.
I was far from it.
Yeah,
but still, it was still fun. If you just turn your brain off. Oh, I remember these guys. Do the member berries and all that shit, and, you know, and just look at the cool scenes.
Yeah, just forget why somebody made a dagger that did all that shit. You know what? Skip that part. You know what? And just the shit's hidden.
I watch a film not just based on the story. I watch it based on the cinematography and the sound editing, all that kind of shit. That goes into a film, and the sound editing on that film especially is great. It's really good. Cinematography is pretty okay on it. Like, it's got a lot of cool visuals.
It does have have cool visuals and stuff.
And kind of how they film stuff. It's actually pretty cool. The other movies I can say they're pretty bland. But
Han Solo's cameo in it, like,
oh yeah, love that.
That was great. That was one of my favorite parts.
But even after that, you get into Mandalorians and stuff like that, and that was a huge kickoff for Star Wars.
Mandalorian was fucking amazing. Everybody was watching Star Wars.
Season 1 was great, like especially the first couple of episodes, because it was so Western and like different, with like the theme song and how he kind of interacted and shit like that with like all the other people. Like, it's very Western, cool. You know, it had a theme to it that wasn't usually Star Wars, but Star Wars could be anything if you just do it right. And they fucking put a lot of thought into that.
One of my favorite things about Mandalorian is that he gets his ass kicked all the time.
Yeah.
And it's always something saves him, whether it's, himself, another person, anything else, something saves him. But he just gets the shit kicked out of him constantly. But that's more realistic.
Yeah.
You're not going in and just whooping everyone's ass all the time.
That gives him trials and tribulations, gives him a character arc, something to battle against. And it's every episode, you know?
And I think that's something that people really liked about it. Season 2, especially the ending of Season 2, everyone was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome.
Especially compared to all the Star Wars shit that was shoved down our throats that we fucking hated,
Yeah. It was like, okay, we're finally getting this stuff we like. Season 3, okay. Season 3 wasn't Season 2, wasn't bad. Book of Boba Fett, I really liked Book of Boba Fett, and
it wasn't Boba Fett though.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
He's a nice guy who wants to help people out.
I thought we were getting, Star Wars Sopranos.
Yeah, well, you had high hopes.
I did. You know what? That's what I really thought. And it didn't go that way. You know, I think maybe they thought they could build on that. And, you know, maybe they thought, oh, let's show him being a nice guy and be like, oh, no, this doesn't work. I need to go back to being a badass. But we're years later and nothing has changed. I don't know that if he's going to be in, you know, the new Mandalorian movie.
He has to be, right?
You would think. He says no, but I know they make these people say,
they
oh,
can't
no,
say
nothing's
anything.
going on. You know, like Book of Boba Fett, they didn't even know that they were filming it. They thought it was part of the Mandalorian.
Right.
They didn't know it was a separate show. So
basically, it was the Mandalorian because the Mandalorian had like what 2 or 3 episodes. Book of Boba Fett. Well, yeah, Book of Boba Fett came out. You know, it was announced at the end of season 2. Sure.
So that's when they showed the whole thing with Bib Fortuna at the end, the end credit scene. So but then, halfway through Book of Boba Fett, it becomes the Mandalorian.
Right.
Season 2.5.
Yeah.
So, I didn't mind
something's got to
that.
happen to this. You can't have like Power Rangers on speed racers going really slow.
Exactly.
You know,
and then at the end, Cad Bane, his thing starts beeping, and that's when the robot would come and help him and stuff. So there was a lot left open. There was a lot they could have done, but nothing's been done.
Back.
What really, then we get Ahsoka, which wasn't bad, but Ahsoka went in a totally different direction.
Totally different.
Which is okay.
I'm fine with it.
I have no complaints about it. I thought Ahsoka was really good. But we just left this whole other story kind of unresolved to me. When we were told all this stuff was going to tie in together, but I don't know what's going to happen now because we've got, the Mandalorian movie. Ahsoka season 2 just finished filming.
And, even with like the Mandalorian movie coming out and they released the trailer, there's really no hype around it at all.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to care because it's the Star Wars fatigue is real. Like the constant put out of product, I think weighs it down. And especially since a lot of that product is not good. And especially like the toys and stuff. The toys, we can expect some new stuff, but it's all reprise shit over and over again, with the toys. And then with the shows, it's kind of the same algorithm that they're using for the shows now, sort of. And you can expect this, you can expect this. And then half that shit gets canceled and you get this.
Oh, yeah. How many projects have they said, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this? We don't have shit.
No.
And I don't know how many times I've said it on this show. Everybody wants the same fucking thing. Everybody's saying, we want an Old Republic movie. Everybody wants Keanu Reeves to be fucking Darth Revan.
Right.
We all know that. It's like, it's there. It's there. Why is nothing being done about this? Although I think one day they might just surprise the shit out of us and be like, yeah, we're doing it.
I think that's what they look for is big surprises, especially because, you look at the Marvel universe and that's all the Marvel universe banks on is big surprises of, actors playing certain characters that we know.
I look at, I could see, an Old Republic movie being something like, the Deadpool and Wolverine. I see like that where, it didn't really come out of nowhere, but it's like it's something people wanted, and then it finally got done. I would like
to see a rated R Star Wars, not done by Disney, but a Disney product that Disney takes under their wing, like the Deadpool. Yeah, like not written by any of their guys. Something
where you can have the guys working on it. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. The shit they've done is great.
Yeah,
They've done amazing work. Like
even their bad shit is good.
Yeah,
it's palatable.
So, having them, kind of, working on it and stuff. That I think that would, helping out. But yeah, let somebody else do it. Go in a different fucking direction. And
I always say, like, look, if you impress the fandom that has always existed, other people are going to latch on because they want to be a part of that fandom.
Yeah.
And that's what they don't understand. They're like, well, we need to bring Star Wars to everyone else and the new groups, the new like groups of LBGTQ and these new people. We need to get everyone in there. You know, we need Jack Black and the other girl, you know, and have that scene for no fucking reason, you know, that has nothing to do with anything.
You know what, though? With that whole episode, I didn't mind Lizzo in it, and I'm not a Lizzo fan at all. I couldn't stand Jack Black. I thought Lizzo did just fine. Didn't bother me at all.
I had no idea what... Like, my mind was blank during that scene. I had no idea what was going on. I'm okay, I'm just going to wait for the next scene.
That was the thing, is that it didn't... Like, her being in it didn't take away being like, oh, this is all about Lizzo. You know, we're you know, like when Jack Black is in it, all you're thinking about is Jack Black.
And he's smiling. He's talking like Jack Black.
Exactly. And you're like, oh, it's Jack Black. I thought Lizzo did a really good job because I wasn't thinking, oh, this is Lizzo. I was looking at her character instead.
Okay.
And
All
I
right.
thought, hey, that wasn't bad. Like I said, I'm not a fan of hers, but I was like, shit, she did really good. I liked her character better than Jack Black.
Okay. Oh, no. I would have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Although my brain was turned off, so I just remember how they look and how...
She just, you know, like I said, she was like being normal and, you know, like played the role really good.
Okay.
So,
is it a known role? Like she's like in the Star Wars universe somehow that known before this?
No.
Not
Nope.
this new character.
No, it was just, you know, both of them were, you know, like king and queen or whatever of this other planet. And
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that whole thing puts a bad taste in it puts a bad taste in my mouth just thinking about it. You know, I'm like, that's fucking Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is extra planetary. It could be anything. So I get that, you know, but still, that's not what Star Wars is. When you go down to the basics, that is not Star Wars.
I feel, too, that a lot of fans felt like they're being left behind. Like you're saying, they're trying to gain these new fans. But what about your core? What about the base that has been here for almost 50 years now? Mm-hmm. You know, I grew up with it. Star Wars has been around longer than I've been alive.
Sure.
So it has been there my entire life. And I've been a fan the entire time. You know, and to feel like I don't matter to them, I think a lot of fans felt like that.
Well, Chizzle, they know you're sticking around. They know you're still buying products.
You're taken for granted.
You're doing
That's
a
a shitty
podcast
feeling.
on their shitty shit.
Yeah.
They
but
know.
No, that's a, you know, think about it in anything, in, you know, in your marriage, if you feel like you're being taken for granted, dude, that fucking sucks.
I know, and they might leave.
In a
and the people who do
friendship.
stick around, you know, it's like they get their hearts broke and they still stick around.
Even with friends, you know, the same thing. You know, your friends that only want you when you can do something for them. And
fuck
shit
you,
like
Star
that.
Wars. You owe me money, Star Wars. We're not friends until you pay me.
Yeah. Pay me back all the fucking money that I've spent. All the money that I've fucking wasted.
It's credits, sir. The galaxy runs on credits. But the Star Wars fatigue is very real, and I do believe that's the reason behind... Well, it's not the core reason. I mean, just for action figures and merchandise itself is down. Kids are on tablets. Kids are doing different internet things. And, you know, shouting 6-7 for no reason.
Yeah.
And they're not even the 67th Battalion, you know?
Yeah. Even Disney Plus, you know, Star Wars made up over 10% of the viewing on Disney Plus. I mean, it's down to, you know, like 9% or something. I mean, you don't think about that, but that's kind of a big drop when you look at like the individual views.
But the production of these shows costs a lot of money.
That's another thing. Look at the Acolyte and how much money they spent on that. Where the fuck did the money go?
Marketing.
I don't know. I don't think that money was spent on marketing.
I read the reports that most of the money, they just included it in production costs. They knew it was going to be a problem. They absolutely knew. And so they pushed it really hard in marketing, you know, and also shitting on other people. They basically bought and sold reviews on Killer Tomatoes or whatever the fucking website's called.
We all know that.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes blocked all the hate comments for future fucking things, you know. which is a problem. Review bombing is a problem, but when review bombing happens, it's because there is a huge outcry, whether it's from a core audience of a product or, Star Wars fans. Like, and it could be several hundred people. Just that's all they do is they don't even have jobs. They just, Ethernet coin trade all day and then hate on Star Wars products.
Yeah.
That's their goal in life.
One thing that, it's not even Star Wars, but recently there was, people were review bombing Lionheart.
Lionheart, what is that?
The new, like the Iron Man one with the with the black chick in it.
Yes,
it wasn't. I watched it. It wasn't bad.
It's the same superhero movie that they put out all the time.
It wasn't bad. There were things about it that I could understand people not liking.
I haven't seen it, but let me guess. She fights someone with similar powers and similar suit.
No,
really, they didn't use the same formula.
Nope.
What happens? Who does she fight?
Someone with some supernatural powers.
Is it the devil?
It is.
It's Mephisto?
Yes.
I think I saw that somewhere, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. But
that means, you know why? Because they have a black star. They're not releasing that in China. That's why.
And some people were, complaining about it. I personally,
Mephisto
I did not,
cannot be in Marvel in any Chinese product, so they put him in something lesser. But he's supposed to show up in newer Marvel shit too. Sacha Baron Cohen is playing him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's funny. It was Borat.
I love that though.
Yeah,
I think he's great.
We were watching it, and I told the wives, I was like, "Do you know who that is?" And they're like, "Who?" And I said, "That's a Borat." And they're like, "What?" No. They're like, "Holy shit, that is him."
That dude's fucking hilarious. He is. I don't even care about his politics or whatever, but he's fucking funny, man.
He is, definitely. But like I said, that got review bombed and stuff. And it's what the reviews that I seen, I was like, okay, they were some legitimate things. One of the things they said in it was, she goes, "Oh, Tony Stark wouldn't be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire."
I remember this, yeah.
He built his fucking thing in a cave.
Right. I mean, he was rich then, though. Well, not at that time.
But he was still smart.
Yeah, super smart.
I mean, he would have found, if you're smart, you're gonna find a way.
Whether you're poor or rich, your ingenuity sticks with you, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is why prisoners escape from prison, because they fucking have this knowledge and carnal knowledge to just build something and create this whole plan. These people know this shit. Like, it just they grab it from a known knowledge. I don't know how it works.
Well, people talk about there's guys that, oh, hey, if he grew up different, instead of selling drugs, he'd be a CEO. He has the same mindset. He knows how shit works. Yeah, he just went a different route.
Yeah. Yeah, how many times that drug dealer stayed alive through just carnal knowledge,
exactly,
and knowing exactly what he needs to do and coming up in harsh situations and making it out of there.
You could be like, dude, there's lots of drug dealers, but there's not many kingpins.
I mean, how much spice has he got? Is he smuggling it?
I mean, the guys that understand it are the ones that get ahead. Not everybody's that smart. Not everybody, can do that. Not everybody.
So you're saying sell the product, don't do the product, Star Wars.
Well, yeah. Just sell people what they want. It's funny how that works.
Here's a weird thing. We used to have no Star Wars for the longest time in history. We had the original trilogy, then we had to wait a long time for the prequels, and those were intermittent. And then after that, nothing.
If you think about it, it wasn't that long.
But as a kid or teenager or whatever you were at the time, I don't remember exactly what I was, somewhere in between all that. And it seemed like a long time to get anything.
It was 14 years.
And there was always anticipation leading up to things. And it's like the days before counting down to Christmas. You know, it's cool. I like I like waiting. Like my favorite time is leading up to WrestleMania, and
Yeah,
at WrestleMania,
the road to
all
WrestleMania.
feuds end. Even like, I was in a huge feud with my cousin. He tried to stab me. He tried to fucking kill me. But we knew at WrestleMania, we're watching it together and all feuds are done. That's where all feuds end, So it's kind of like that. It's like, anticipation works and it builds.
Yeah. For me, it's 4th of July. 4th of July is my thing.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck. If I hate you and you come over on 4th of July, we're fucking friends.
Yeah. We're drinking. We're blowing
Exactly.
shit up. We're being men.
Exactly. I don't give a shit. I will put everything aside on 4th of July. I don't fucking care.
Let me borrow like all the money you have right before 4th of July.
It's like coming to ask for a favor on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Right.
That's it.
You come to me on this
Yeah.
day right
You
before
come to me
the new Star Wars.
you come to me on this day of independence.
I would like to independently ask to borrow money. Do you think that, because there is kind of a break in Star Wars because a lot of people aren't watching the product. They're still fans. They're not watching the Andor. They're not watching the, what do you call it? The Skull Children, the Goonies.
So, Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, yeah.
I feel that was a really good episode, a really good product, but because of the Acolyte, people were just turned off.
Yep. And the reason why I didn't finish it, because I actually enjoyed it, but I was just done, I just didn't feel like watching Star Wars. I have to be in the mood to watch Star Wars.
A lot of people.
And I'm so used to anticipating Star Wars and going, oh, cool, new Mandalorian episode. I'll watch this. This is going to be cool. Even if it's a shitty one.
A lot of people, I'd see, on, in the Facebook groups and stuff, and people are like, I don't give a shit right now. I don't care. Maybe I'll watch it. And everyone's like, no, it was good. They said it made me feel like a kid again. It's why I loved Star Wars in the first place. There was nothing crazy about it. It was just a good story. Like you said, everyone says it's like Goonies, whatever. But
you get the pew-pews, the explosions, the ships.
Exactly. It had a
banter.
story.
Yeah.
It was, it was enjoyable. Like, it was something you literally could sit down and watch with your family.
Simple to understand.
If your kids weren't really into it, or maybe your wife doesn't follow Star Wars, she could sit there and watch it and not feel left out. It was, that's the kind of inclusivity that people, really want, Well,
let me tell you, I would watch Star Wars episodes and shit like that, when it's streaming and stuff. I would do it like women masturbate, or at least in my mind how they do it. They light candles, they sit in a bathtub. Although me, I'm by myself because my wife ain't gonna watch it. But I turn up the sound, I get the sound perfect. I'm sitting in the middle chair, which has speakers in the fucking chair.
Yeah.
I get the big screen TV. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch the episode. I'm gonna be all engulfed in this shit,
Yep.
And it's simple to understand. I could drink, I could do whatever I want.
I don't when new episodes would come out. I'm not watching them in my room. No, I'm in the living room. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting my spot on the couch with my my dog next to me, whatever. I mean, where I want to be. I have my drink, my snacks, whatever.
Making it special,
and that's it. And I watch it there. When Mandalorian would come out, when it comes on at midnight, we get it at midnight on the West Coast. So I would stay up and I would watch it. And the next morning, I would rewatch it with my wife. Jen would be like,
so hard to avoid spoilers the next day. It's really hard. You
and
have to stay off all social media.
And because she will ask a million questions. So I at least already watched it. And I was like, I'll rewatch it. And maybe I'll catch something I didn't see, whatever. And then when she asks me all these questions, she's not interrupting my first time seeing it.
Sure.
So, who's that? What's that? Why is he doing that? Where's he going? Who is this? What are they doing? Why did that happen? And if you're watching, it's like, you watch the exact same thing I just did. All the fucking time she does that shit. Drives me crazy. And then usually she'll ask a question, and 30 seconds later, it gets answered.
You should, you should watch Star Wars how other people watch football, where you stand really as close as you can to the TV and coach the team. No, Mandalorian, don't
those
do that.
Fucking guys. Yeah. Damn it! If I was wearing my Mandalorian helmet, that shit wouldn't have happened.
Right?
Damn it! I had on the wrong.
This is not the way.
I had on the wrong Star Wars socks today.
These are not the socks you're looking for,
Yeah.
bro. Why are you wearing no socks?
Yeah.
It's Mandalorian Day.
Yeah.
We're in a lull in Star Wars.
Definitely.
I mean, obviously it's going to come back, like, to be big again, right? I think that's going to take new characters. I think Mandalorian, with the product overload of Grogu and Mandalorian shit everywhere, yeah, they're big characters, but they need to be
I think
done
there needs to be a shakeup
Yep.
of some kind. Like I said, get something new. Obviously, if they
Not Acolyte new.
obviously they're going to tie up everything with Mandalorian, Grogu, Ahsoka, all that. They said that was going to be Dave Filoni's movie where he kind of ties everything up all in one. Okay, I could see that in, it'll be good. But then let's do something different.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody.
I want to see a rated R joint. I
Yes.
want to see a horror joint or, close to horror. Something like just try some shit because you're at this low point where you can do anything.
Yeah.
And it's only going to make it better. And or even if it's worse, people are going to go, remember that horror thing? And people are going to remember it years later and go, dude, this was fucking actually really good.
I've always said I want to see something like Tales of whatever. Like, they've been doing the animated ones and people like those. I think they're too short. But Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales of the Underworld, or whatever they're calling it. My favorite book, which I've said so many times, is Tales from Jabba's Palace, where there's 15 different stories in the one book, and they did like Tales of the Bounty Hunter, stuff like that. And I think the idea that I always had for it, which I think would be really good, is you get someone like Billy D. Williams to come on there.
Yeah, we talked about. Yeah,
And
I
you
like
just
this a
do.
lot.
Hey, Lando tells the story.
And he's at a bar and he's telling tall tales.
Exactly.
Some
so
truth.
it doesn't have to be exact. So
Right.
you can fudge some stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's telling it from his perspective. So not everything is going to be 100% accurate. So you can get away with certain
Right.
things.
In each season, you have a short bar story that goes throughout every episode.
Yeah.
And
A
there's-
little bit,
Yeah.
But the stories can be about anything. It doesn't have to be the same characters all the way through.
He could know Jabba's son who's like really ripped.
But that's
he
one.
was one of those Jabba aliens. He was ripped.
There's one episode on that. Another episode could be about
Never knew a slug
Spice.
could work out.
yeah, spice runners, and then another one could be about a bounty hunter. Just random. You can do so much random shit like that. Hell, you could do something. We've all seen like rancors in multiple things. It's like, okay, maybe we have a little more info about that.
They have
Maybe
so many comic books to pull from, and which
There's
they
so
kind
much
of have been
source
doing here and there.
material. You know what?
Yeah.
There's actually, it just made me think about it, and I wish I knew the name of it. There's a fan-made film about how they found the Rancor.
Oh, really?
It's on YouTube. It's really good. It's a little short, maybe 15-minute thing. Really good. Really good fan-made one. And just something like that.
It has to do with like remember the Bad Batch had the baby Rancor or whatever that they had to save.
Yeah. Something like that. You could cover so many different topics, and not everything has to be perfect and exact. I think it's a great
Right.
way
you
to
can
tell a
get
story.
all kinds of different interesting writers who want to write a Star Wars episode
And
about
they
anything.
They can have a 1-hour episode.
You don't even have to have Billy D. Williams like as himself in the story. He just knows it because he heard it from someone else.
Exactly. Hey, let me tell you about this story I heard from this guy.
And he's drunk as fuck.
Yeah. And then, then he's not in it. He's literally in it. He's in, 2 or 3 minutes of it.
You can have them
And-
at the Cantina in Star Wars Land or Batu. It don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yep.
Promote your Batu, and whatever. And then it goes into whatever else.
That would actually be kind of a good
Then
idea.
you can have an animatronic of Billy D. Williams sitting at
That's
the
what I'm
bar
saying.
at
the-
Disneyland telling
at
stories.
the bar. And
that seat costs money to sit next to him. And he's like, well, let me tell you this story. And he moves all weird,
like the Hall of Presidents guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn, that's a good idea.
Oh, cool. What did he say? Welcome to the Hall of Presidents.
Fuck, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
We need to work for Disney.
Sure. Dude, I always wanted to be an Imagineer. That was like one of the things that I thought was, I always watch shit about Imagineers and how the ride's made and what they go through. And
I love
dude,
that
that
kind of
shit's
stuff.
fucking awesome. I
All the behind the scenes shit.
all the
love that
rides,
stuff.
like I'm not looking at the ride. I'm looking at around and seeing how shit
Oh,
works.
yeah.
One
of my absolute favorite things from Star Wars was the making of the saga.
Okay.
Back in the day, I had the VHS, and it showed you all the behind the scenes stuff, how they made, how they made Jabba the Hutt.
Mm-hmm.
Was, to me, it was crazy to think that was in like 1980.
How did they, like, he's a giant puppet, like with like three
Yes,
guys in there?
4 people.
4 people.
4 people. There was a guy that he had this whole contraption that worked just the eyes, and how they made the eyes work and blink and stuff.
And now they can't do that shit because it costs way too much money to save their life. They have to use, CGI, which also costs money, but it doesn't.
It looked.
doesn't do the same.
And it doesn't even look as good.
No, not at all.
You know,
Jabba he still looks real to me, man.
That shit. Like when you think about that, 40 years ago, they can't do shit better now than 40 years ago. That shit's crazy to me.
Because that price goes way up because that FX studio doing all that shit. I mean, we hit our peak, I think, with Jurassic Park using CGI and animatronics, puppets, whatever, at the same time. That was the peak.
It was with Jurassic Park. It was so hard to tell where the fake dinosaurs
Start
and the
end,
real, and the real ones were there. So,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, because they enhanced everything about it, but it was so minute that you can't tell the difference because the real thing is still there. And that's how they should still do things, because even AI, you can say it looks real, but you can still feel that it's not.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people, like, I was working with like an older guy today, and he's going through all these videos, and he goes, I don't remember Muhammad Ali boxing this guy. I don't even know who it is. I go, look, if you're watching an old video on TikTok, it's AI. It's not going to be real. No one's going to just post old videos of boxing, unless there's something about it, but yeah, it's not real. And you can tell by the way they move, it's too fluent, kind of like it's just, you get that weird feeling from it, and you can fucking tell.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Usually it doesn't.
If it's too real,
Well, that's like people will say, the like real art has like, a soul or something. You could you feel real art. You could tell the difference.
Yeah.
If somebody drew something or you created it, you can definitely tell compared to, AI.
I mean, I still feel like the same way about AI. Like, I don't think it's terrible or nothing like that, but I think it does the same thing that we do. When we create art, we use shit of our experiences, so it's almost similar, and I think AI will get there also. So, look out.
I don't think it'll get there completely.
I think it will.
Because
it'll get so complex, just like our brains are so complex. I mean, minus the soul, if that is real.
Yeah.
But, believe what you believe.
Yeah.
Star Wars needs a soul.
Yeah.
Star Wars needs a soul. I think that's the problem. They lost it. And some might think they lost it when it sold to Disney. I don't think so.
I don't think
because
so.
Disney opens up a new world for new creators to come in. And Disney's just looking to make a buck. But also creators are looking to make their way in the business and do some real art. And they can do that because the love of Star Wars has transcended generations.
Oh, yeah.
and people do want to do stuff, and they've done it online, like you were talking about, like the indie stuff.
Yeah, some of the fan stuff I've seen has just been amazing. Obviously, we've talked about him before. Star Wars Theory doing his Vader film. That shit was really good, and he made a name for himself off of that. And I've seen some other fan films. I'm just like, holy shit, dude, these are so good.
I mean, even just like the old school videos of it'll be a fight at a party and they pull out lightsabers and start killing each other. And they might have like photoshopped lightsabers in their hand, or they acted it out and it looks fucking real. Like it looks cool, Nowadays, people fighting with lightsabers, or it's fun, And it's enjoyable, even for the 15 seconds that it's on. I mean, I'm not saying do exactly that, Star Wars, but like think in that, level of artistic thinking.
Like everybody said when Dave Filoni and, Jon Favreau started doing stuff, you saw their love of it. I mean, it really does come through in the product.
Yeah.
You could tell that they are real fans, compared to some of the other shit that we've seen.
I mean, doing the spaghetti western shit, I fucking love it. I love the idea of it. I love, what's his name? The fucking alien character, bad guy to, you said him earlier, like for Boba Fett, who he basically kills him at the end. But
Bib Fortuna.
Not Bib Fortuna. The other guy who has...
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
Yeah.
Which his character is fucking awesome. He just wasn't fleshed out in the series, which I hope he comes back. I think the idea is that he didn't die. They put him in the Bacta tank or something like that, because Boba Fett is about recreating his enemies or like, giving them another chance.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Star Wars theme is the bad guys do get another chance.
There's
like
a
Darth
lot.
Vader,
There's a lot of redemption. In Star Wars.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, and I think that could be for Cad Bane, but I don't think that should happen to him. He still needs to be a cool big bad, and not that easily defeated.
Well, at the end of Book of Boba Fett, Cobb Vanth was in the Bacta tank.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like him too. Like he's Timothy Oliphant. He's a great actor, man. Like,
yeah, he did really good.
He's really cool in the Alien Earth series too. He's fucking awesome.
Never seen it.
Dude, you got to watch it. It just ended, so it's really good.
There's so much shit I need to catch up on. It's just been so fucking busy that when I put shit on now, it's just background noise, really, and I haven't had time to actually sit and watch anything.
Like what they did for Alien Earth, if they did that for Star Wars, I'd be like, holy shit, this is fucking great. And it's not even like, I mean, Alien is horror themed, but it's more like dark space, This is not so much horror at all. It's very science fiction and just fucking awesome. Like how they also use like fairy tales with it. So that's it, dude. It's fucking Star Wars almost, but just more, I guess, realistic, in a sense.
Good sci-fi borders on, it's like borderline horror stuff. There's a lot of suspense. There's a lot of,
But see, horror works well when it's matched up or similar to fairy tales and tales that we've heard a million times.
Yeah.
So does science fiction. It works really well when it's matched up with something archaic, that we all know, that we all live by. And the same thing with Star Wars. It's shit that we all know, but with just more futuristic shit or past shit, however you look at it. But I think we did it for this episode.
I think so. I think this one, God, I don't know how long this was, but it was
about an hour. We went through the Star Wars fatigue.
We covered a lot on this episode. I think we're good.
In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.